already were accomplished in your early 20s. Where were you headed back then, and what was your health philosophy? Because from what we know about you and how you introduce in the introduction of your book, you started off very differently from the healthy, fit guy that you are today.
There's a disconnect between Western healthcare and nutrition, and it's problematic for the patients. And it also is problematic for me and the doctors. And part of the reason why is because we're not given the education that we need to be able to take care of our patients from a nutritional perspective. And that includes even myself. So I'm a human being. I fell for the same problems, the same traps that other people do. And so I was eating a diet that was predominantly junk food, lots of hot dogs, Philly cheesesteaks. My favorite was a ribeye with a glass of red wine. I'll keep the glass of red wine these days. I have not had a ribeye in years, and honestly, I don't miss it. I honestly don't miss it, and which is a crazy thing to say because back then I would have never guessed that. But my health got away from me. Here I am, and I'm 30 years old. I should be in the prime of my life. I've gained 50 pounds compared to who I was in high school. That's a hard pill to swallow for a guy who was a great athlete. I gained 50 pounds, anxiety, high blood pressure, and frankly, needing to keep myself on caffeine all day long just to get through the day. So yes, I'm achieving, my professional goals back then, but I don't like the way I feel. I don't like the way I look, and I don't know what to do about it. And it was discovering the power of a plant-based diet that radically transformed my life, sent me on this path. It was not an overnight thing. I didn't switch in one day. This happened over the course of years. I was pescatarian for several years, and still including the dairy, still including the eggs. And one day I said, you know what? I'm just going to see what happens. And I went for it, and I lost 15 pounds almost immediately. And I was back to my weight from high school. And so to me, this was incredible. And, let me just say that I've brought these practices into my clinic, and thousands of patients have benefited from this to the point that people may not look at me right now and think, oh, this guy hates social media. I really don't love social media. I honestly don't. I never had any interest in it, but I had to share this message. I had to. And so in 2016, I started my Instagram account just to spread this message of what was happening in my clinic. Let other people know that this is the way that it works. This is what the science is saying. And now here we are, and the book is coming out, and I'm thrilled.
And your Instagram account is booming. You have a lot of followers. What happened? You were 50 pounds overweight, working in the medical field, eating junk diet, typical bachelor guy. How did you change? Why did you even consider giving up meat and changing your diet?
All right, so let's go back to around 2012, and I'm in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. I'm in my GI fellowship, and I am single. And you can imagine, as a 32-year-old single guy, I am on a mission to get myself in the best shape physically possible. I want to attract someone, attractive. And so I'm a very goal-oriented person. So I'm not exaggerating, and you guys have done even more than this than me, but I was in the gym 30 to 45 minutes on the heavy weights, and then either jumping on the treadmill for 5 to 10K or jumping in the pool for 100 laps. And I was doing that 6 days a week, and I'm not exaggerating. And I could put on muscle. I could not lose weight. And so I'm just like, what the heck is going on here? What's with the puffiness? And I met the person who now is my wife. And I had never been around someone like this before. We would go out to the best restaurants, and you could get whatever you want. And she would ask them to just make a plate full of plants. And I was like, what the heck is going on here? You could get a pork chop, you could get a ribeye. What are you doing? And I would see her do this. And my wife, she could eat without restriction. She was not cutting meals, cutting calories. She was doing none of that. And she looked absolutely incredible. And so it opened my eyes, like, how is she able to eat whatever she wants and maintain her body and the level of fitness when I'm over here working out like a madman? And it just led me down this path where I said, you know what, I'm just going to try this. I'm just going to try something. And so I started with a simple thing, a smoothie for dinner. That was it. Instead of stopping for fast food, I went home, bananas, berries, some greens, maybe some flax and chia. And that's what I did for dinner. And I felt instantly so much better. And then I noticed that my body was starting to change. And I kept running with it. And I went down that path. And along the way, you have to understand, I'm a doctor. I got a master's degree in clinical research from Northwestern. I didn't just do a gastroenterology fellowship at UNC. I did an epidemiology fellowship at UNC at the School of Public Health that's there, which is ranked number 2, tied with Harvard.
So you're a researcher is what you're saying.
I'm a science guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a science guy. And so the science has to be there. I won't take it if the science is not there. I'm just not going to. And so as I started to explore this, I asked the question, why have I not been taught this in my medical training? And I went to the literature and I didn't find a couple of dingy studies. I found thousands of high quality research studies that already exist that show the path to better health is already decided.
So thank you so much for tuning in today. If we helped you in any way, then click the subscribe button and let's keep hanging out together. We have so much more to share with you.
And if you need more information on actually making the switch for good, please visit us at switchforgood.org for loads of info. And you can subscribe to our mailing list where you will receive all sorts of super cool gifts, discount codes to our very fave dairy-free products, and a lifetime of powerful health tips.
So join us on the journey to switch for good. This is the future.